touch and go. There is no time to spare. Brandon does not want to let go of a ticket in the top 5. Brandon to her final 2. Speegle just behind. It will be interesting for Brandon. I mentioned Dani Speegle trying to catch her. Clearly frustrated at the end of the last event. How does she mentally push past that, especially being hunted? She told us coming into this, it's fun to be hunted. It's fun to perform with a target on your back. She's got one right here.
And if I'm going to be honest, the nature of this event, if you had a frustrating event prior, if there's one event I could circle that it'd be fun to do angry, this might be the one. Put a little extra juice into that bike, put your head down on those burpee box jump overs, and then rip into that D-ball.
We're about 30 seconds into this event 5.
And earlier we saw Allison Scudds, who performed well at this event in 2017, set the time to beat. Well, back in 2017, Carrie Pierce set the time to beat.
And shot out of a cannon already. We are on to the burpee box jump overs, and Dani Speegle is flying. She is on a mission, and Tommy, she knows she needs to cover ground and is out to do so.
And that's scary for the rest of the field. She's moving well in these burpee box jump overs because you know she's going to manhandle that D-ball once she gets to it. She's one of the strongest athletes, not just in this field, but in CrossFit. So if she can get through these first 2 portions, then it's pretty smooth sailing for her.
And the way that Dani Speegle is working here, considering what she's been through today, just from a physical stance, makes it all the more impressive as she continues to pull that box forward. Danielle Brandon, though, with the blue hair in lane 6, the woman that she is trying to chase down. They are neck and neck as Speegle continues to work. Allison Scudds, 3:24. Time to beat. We are more than halfway there. 10 D-ball cleans on the final movement.
And Speegle starting to slow on these burpee box jump overs. I think Danielle Brandon is pulled just slightly ahead of her. And it's interesting, Danielle Brandon, she'll touch both of her feet, then one leave foot overhead to reach with that.
And here is Brandon, who is seconds earlier to the D-ball. These two going head-to-head here. They are in 5th and 6th place. This is the bubble. Between the two of them is a 19-point difference. Danielle Brandon racing ahead. Touch and go. There is no time to spare. Brandon does not want to let go of a ticket in the top 5. Brandon to her final 2. Speegle just behind, but Danielle Brandon, how about the comeback? Oh, did Speegle edge her out? So close at the 3-minute mark. Dani Speegle is done and cooked, but she left it on the floor.
That final rep, Danielle Brandon took an extra second on the way up to try and shift the D-ball. And that was just enough for Speegle, who absolutely emptied the tank on those final 2 and dove across the finish line.
Speegle officially is ahead of Danielle Brandon. So Dani Speegle wins by 0.3, and it looked like Brandon was going to be there. But Tommy, you're right, those split-second hairs in a 6-minute sprint.
And that's honestly why we have this chip timing here. Because of these margins, we want to be as precise as possible to pay credit to these incredibly close races.
Brianna Wallen, she's on the bubble as well. 9th place coming into this. She was just 30 points out of a last chance online qualifier spot. But 3 minutes. Dani Speegle and Danielle Brandon. Dani Speagle's going to gain ground. Brandon will still be ahead of her. 19 points was the difference. That's not what was at stake there, but it makes it a whole lot more interesting heading into Sunday.
But credit to Dani Speegle, right? She finishes 27th in the ruck run. Looks like she could have an end to her weekend a little bit earlier because of how much she was struggling dealing with the heat exhaustion. How does she respond? A 5th, and then it looks like a 1st, beating Danielle Brandon in a hotly contested race.